If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Myles Garrett has finally broken the silence that every Browns fan was waiting for, and the NFL world is absolutely buzzing about it. After weeks of cryptic posts, locker room whispers, and sideline tension, the Cleveland Star defensive end reportedly dropped a bomb that could shake the entire franchise to its core. "Nobody in this team wants him back," Garrett allegedly said, according to someone close to the Browns' inner circle. He didn't name names directly, but everyone seems to know who he's referring to: the controversial figure whose presence divided the locker room and left lasting scars after last season's chaotic ending. Whether it's about the former quarterback, a certain high-profile receiver, or a coach who lost the players' trust, one thing's for sure: Myles Garrett isn't afraid to call it how he sees it. The timing of his statement is also suspicious. The Browns are coming off one of their most emotionally draining stretches in recent memory, and the last thing they needed was internal drama. But here we are, right in the middle of a storm that could redefine how this team is built and what kind of leadership it truly needs going forward. What makes Garrett's comment so explosive is that it doesn't sound like frustration in the heat of the moment. It sounds calculated, deliberate, and pointed. People around the league are saying that Garrett has been quietly holding these feelings for a while, keeping his cool in public while privately growing tired of the repeated dysfunction. Sources inside the Browns organization claim that Garrett's words reflect what a lot of players have been thinking but were too afraid to say out loud. That's the scary part for the front office. If the locker room really feels this way, it's not just about one player anymore. It's about culture, trust, and accountability. Fans are torn. Some applaud Garrett for showing leadership and honesty, while others believe he might be stirring the pot when the team needs unity. But no matter which side you're on, the message is impossible to ignore. Myles Garrett isn't just any player. He's the emotional heartbeat of that defense, and when he speaks, everyone listens. Behind closed doors, teammates are reportedly split between relief and concern. Some feel vindicated, saying that this conversation needed to happen months ago, that the elephant in the room had grown too big to ignore. Others, though, worry that Garrett's words could tear open old wounds and reignite rivalries that had just begun to heal. The Browns' locker room has seen its fair share of turmoil, but this feels different, like a breaking point. Insiders have hinted that the player in question had lost the respect of the room long before Garrett spoke out, with practices turning awkward and sideline energy dropping noticeably when his name was mentioned. Myles, known for his calm demeanor and quiet leadership, doesn't speak unless it matters. So when he says something like, "Nobody wants him back," you can bet it's not just frustration. It's truth backed by months of silence and tension. The organization now faces a crucial decision. Do they double down on keeping a star for the sake of talent, or do they back their captain and preserve the soul of the team? The drama only intensifies when you consider how much Garrett has done to rebuild his image after that infamous helmet incident years ago. Since then, he's been the picture of professionalism, maturity, and discipline. So, when someone like him steps up and drops a statement this strong, it carries massive weight. Fans have flooded social media, dissecting every possible meaning behind his words, trying to figure out who exactly he is. Some say it's the polarizing quarterback who lost the locker room's faith. Others point to a veteran receiver known for sideline outbursts. Either way, the fact that Myles Garrett, arguably the team's moral compass, is publicly expressing frustration says everything you need to know. The Browns' identity, once rooted in grit and unity, now seems shaky. The air around Berea feels heavy. The question now isn't just who he meant, it's what happens next. Will the front office confront the issue head-on, or will they sweep it under the rug like so many times before? NFL analysts are already speculating about the fallout. Some believe Garrett's comments could signal the beginning of a major overhaul in Cleveland. The Browns have been trying to convince everyone that their locker room culture has evolved, that they're past the chaos and controversy that used to define them. But when your defensive leader publicly questions whether a teammate should even be allowed back, that illusion crumbles fast. This could push the organization to make tough choices in the offseason, maybe even parting ways with players who bring talent but disrupt chemistry. On the other hand, this could be the spark the team needs, a wake-up call reminding everyone that no one is above the shield, that performance means nothing without trust. Garrett's statement, whether intentional or not, might be the emotional reset button the Browns desperately needed. The fans deserve transparency, and Garrett just gave them a raw glimpse into what's really going on behind the scenes. Now the eyes of the NFL are glued to Cleveland. Every camera, every reporter, every insider wants to know, who's Garrett talking about, and how will the team respond? The Browns' PR department is reportedly in overdrive, trying to control the narrative before it spirals. But this story has legs. It's emotional, it's personal, and it's exactly the kind of storm the media loves. And Myles Garrett? He seems unfazed, focused, and unapologetic. That's what makes it all the more fascinating. You can sense that he's tired of pretending everything's fine when it clearly isn't. Maybe this is the start of a new Browns era, one where silence isn't mistaken for peace, and leadership means speaking the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it sounds. Garrett's words have ignited a fire that won't die easily, and whether the team implodes or unites around him will define the next chapter in Cleveland football. If the first half was the spark, the second half is the explosion, because insiders are now revealing that Garrett's statement wasn't just an off-the-cuff comment. It was part of a broader locker room confrontation that happened earlier this week. Reports say several key players, including veterans and rising stars, expressed frustration during a closed-door meeting. One source described the scene as tense but necessary, with Garrett allegedly standing up and saying exactly what many felt. "We can't keep bringing back the same problems and expect different results." Those words hit hard. Some players reportedly clapped. Others stayed silent, staring at the floor. The tension that's been simmering for months finally boiled over, and now, the Browns' leadership finds itself in a full-blown identity crisis. The organization wanted a quiet offseason to build momentum. Now it's firefighting rumors and managing egos. Garrett's words might have exposed the cracks, but maybe that's what it takes to finally fix the foundation. As more details leak out, it's becoming clearer that this wasn't a random emotional outburst. Garrett, according to those close to him, has been increasingly frustrated with the team's decision-making, especially regarding players who, in his view, don't fit the culture. "He's tired of the excuses," said one insider. "He wants accountability, consistency, and real leadership." And honestly, who can blame him? Myles has carried this defense for years, often being the face of the franchise even when others fell short. Watching him step up and demand better might be exactly what the Browns need, even if it hurts in the short term. Players respect honesty, and while some might bristle at the bluntness, others see it as long overdue. What's fascinating here is how this situation could redefine Garrett's legacy, not just as a superstar pass rusher, but as a cultural leader who dared to shake things up when everyone else stayed quiet. Fans are reacting in waves. Some are calling Garrett a hero for finally saying what needed to be said. Others accuse him of dividing a team that was just starting to find stability. But no matter where you stand, you can't deny that the Browns haven't looked united for a while now. Every press conference feels rehearsed, every comment filtered. Garrett shattered that illusion with one sentence. That's raw leadership, unfiltered, emotional, and risky. People forget that football teams aren't just built on talent, they're built on trust. And when trust breaks, so does everything else. The locker room dynamic will be fascinating to watch in the coming weeks. If players rally behind Garrett, this could be the moment that finally galvanizes them. But if factions form, the Browns could be headed straight into another season of drama, with headlines overshadowing what happens on the field. Either way, Garrett's message has changed the energy in Cleveland forever. Now, you can feel the tension all over social media. Former players are chiming in, analysts are debating on live TV, and fans are split down the middle. What's most striking is how calculated Garrett's timing seems. Right when the team's leadership was preaching unity and fresh starts. That's not coincidence. He knew this would hit hard, and he did it anyway. Some believe this is Garrett's way of forcing accountability from the top down. Others think he's pushing the team to choose a side, the future or the past. And if you look closely, it's not just about one player. It's about a mindset that's been holding the Browns back for years. The truth is, Myles Garrett has always been more than a player. He's a voice, a presence, and when he finally chooses to speak, the whole league listens. This isn't about gossip anymore. It's about leadership clashing with complacency. It's about truth versus comfort. In Cleveland, This saga is now the only thing anyone's talking about. Local sports radio can't stop replaying that quote. Reporters are camping outside the team facility. Even national outlets are circling, sensing there's more to the story than what's been revealed. The Browns head coach is trying to downplay everything, calling it internal communication, but fans aren't buying it. When your captain says nobody wants him back, that's not just communication, that's an ultimatum. The front office knows it too. They're in damage control mode, but the players are watching closely. Will management back Garrett, or will they try to protect the one he called out? This decision could define the team's future. Because once trust is broken between the locker room and the front office, it's almost impossible to rebuild. Garrett, intentionally or not, just forced everyone in Cleveland to pick a side. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. At the end of the day, maybe this is exactly what the Browns needed. A hard truth, delivered by the one guy who's earned the right to speak it. For years, Cleveland has been trying to shake off the ghosts of bad management, locker room drama, and wasted potential. Myles Garrett's statement might be the beginning of something new. A team that values accountability over reputation, chemistry over controversy. Sure, it's messy right now. Sure, fans are nervous. But sometimes, the best rebuilds start with a little destruction. Garrett's honesty has opened wounds. Yes, but maybe it's the only way they'll ever heal. The Browns have talent, no question. What they need now is unity built on truth, not silence. And if Garrett's words are the spark that ignites that transformation, then maybe this so-called controversy is actually the start of a revolution in Cleveland football. Industry insiders are now speculating on potential ripple effects, suggesting that Garrett's explosive demand could influence other star players, front office strategies, and even draft decisions in upcoming seasons. Some analysts predict that if Cleveland ultimately trades him, it could inspire similar assertiveness from elite players across the league, reshaping negotiation dynamics and increasing the perceived power of individual athletes in organizational decision-making. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly monitoring the Browns' situation closely, assessing whether the circumstances surrounding Garrett's dissatisfaction provide an opportunity to acquire not only elite talent, but also valuable insight into team culture and management strategy. Social media chatter and sports podcasts are amplifying every new rumor, creating a feedback loop where speculation feeds further speculation, magnifying the perceived gravity of the situation. Even casual fans are drawn into discussions about possible destinations, trade valuations, and the strategic logic behind Garrett's actions. Analysts emphasize that beyond the immediate implications for Cleveland, this saga may serve as a blueprint for how high-profile disagreements between players and management can unfold in the modern NFL, with consequences for contracts, team culture, and public perception. Each leak, report, and insider tip continues to add layers of intrigue, ensuring that Garrett's demand will remain a central narrative thread in football discourse for weeks, if not months, as stakeholders across the league watch closely for the next dramatic development. Insiders claim that the coming weeks will be critical for Dillon Gabriel as he navigates the demands imposed by Garrett, with every game, practice, and team meeting offering opportunities to prove or falter. Sources report that the quarterback is aware that Garrett's scrutiny is relentless and that earning the defensive star's respect could become a defining feature of his career trajectory. Meanwhile, veteran teammates continue to monitor the evolving dynamic, attempting to maintain balance within the locker room while respecting Garrett's authority. Analysts highlight that this situation reflects a larger truth about professional sports. Talent alone is insufficient without accountability, leadership, and the ability to withstand pressure from high-performing teammates. Fans remain glued to social media and sports outlets, dissecting every moment and speculating about the ultimate outcome, as rumors suggest that a breakthrough or a breakdown could occur at any moment. The narrative surrounding Garrett and Gabriel has transformed into an ongoing spectacle, one that mixes personal confrontation, mentorship, and the high stakes of professional competition into a story that captivates both casual observers and diehard fans alike, making every Browns practice feel like a critical scene in an unfolding drama. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dog Pound conversation. Go Browns!